Answering questions too, because she's pretty savvy with most of these devices.
No.
Yeah, she is. So, with that said, this is a thermal imaging camera. So you guys should be able to see me in there. I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. And this is actually going to work out really well tonight, but
awesome.
Sorry, but I'm the hottest thing inside the picture right now. So it's just going to work out. It's mainly females. Now,
Got jokes.
yeah. Well, I got to get you laughing because this is fun. It's not always super serious like they show you on TV. So, yeah. We're going to get her chuckling too. Don't you worry. We got her down. What are we looking for in this? What do you think? Not heat. Right, exactly. We're looking for cold spots. So this is a FLIR camera. This is what firemen use to actually help save people. Like, this is the real deal. We're looking for blue and black spots to either take shape or start moving on their own. So again, that's the whole purpose of this camera. You're also going to be getting the full video back of this. The cool thing about the way I have this set up is there's a blue dot that will be bouncing around your screen to show you where the coldest spot is in the frame at that particular moment. It's going to help direct your eye on where the coldest spots are going to be. So I usually look for 15 plus degree temperature differences between a blue dot and an ambient temperature. So when I'm kind of spot checking this video, I always kind of take note of like, what does the center crosshair say, and yada yada yada. You'll read all my notes tomorrow morning. So with that said, I'm actually going to hand this off to, I think, Michael, I think this one's going to go to you, buddy. So you're going to hold this horizontal all night long. It is recording right now, so everybody kind of knows how to watch the video. That's why I start the recording right away. If you hold it right-handed, the camera's going to be on your left, and we are going to do a few starts and stops, because as great as the software is, or as great as the hardware is.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Now you're back up and running. Good deal. So let's get those spirit boxes cranked and unmuted. So, Stephanie, if you want to work with the girls first and kind of show them a little bit more tidbits and any questions they might actually have.
6.9, and now it's 2.6. But it was 6.9 for a millisecond.
A millisecond. Love it.
And now it's 0, but it was, I mean, it just changes.
Great. So we're going to go above 6.9 at this point. We're going to continue to escalate it. But again, you're getting some really good spikes. Yeah, let's go ahead and spread out. I'm going to work with Brenda first to show them how to use this device. So the motion sensor on this. This is a safe space where we can actually use it and actually get a lot.
Sorry.
They're not getting the spread out part. They're not getting the spread out part. They're staying as a group.
I gotta ask some questions to the ghost.
Yeah? You get answers?
No, I've been too embarrassed to talk to the box.
Talk to the box. You gotta talk to the box. Go for it.
There's a way to reset it, and that's the 4 buttons right here on the side. It's easier if you almost hold it flat so that way it's not flashing in your face. There you go. The one at the very bottom button is the one you want. Every time it goes off, click that button, and it'll reset the little field that's around the antenna. So in the event it goes off with your motion, and you think it went up to blue or purple or whatever color you see, click the reset button and it goes right back to it. It's obviously not helping your motion. So we're trying to eliminate those kind of sounds. You can also ask for colors. I love this device because it has the your device isn't always an in-the-moment type super catch, but when we do find something on the review, it's a holy cow moment. So obviously the slower the motions you have, the easier it is to capture any kind of cold spots. If you see something crazy, obviously you scream for me and me or London will come running over to see what you got. Kind of because we want to debunk things, especially with Brenda's device. So, but the technology on that thing is absolutely phenomenal. And that's why I usually give it to guys, because we love the high-tech gear. So I was like, oh, we got one gentleman tonight. I guess for this one, that's where this one's going to go. So have fun with it, nice and slow. Test things out, see how hot the cars are. You know, that kind of thing.
Got anything?
Yeah. I'm just wandering around a parking lot. That's cool. 12.1. That's something.
What are you hearing, Jordan?
Value point two.
Right now, nothing.
I mean, what were you hearing?
A little bit ago, The Mad World by not Adam Lambert, the first guy who sang it.
Cool.
I don't know. I forgot all the questions I was supposed to ask you. How did he die? Who was the president before he died?
So ask.
Does that mean there's some sort of energy?
Either that or mine, and I disrupted it. I don't know.
It's not you.
We're supposed to walk around?
I think this is
Follow up with Jordan real fast.
The ambient temperature hasn't changed. No, do you feel like an idiot walking around a parking lot
I
talking
do.
to non-existent
I do.
people?
I feel like an idiot, but that's all right. I did this to feel like an idiot.
I thought you did this because I booked it.
I wanted it.
I mean, I like ghost stories. Yeah, I go to the jail and hear ghost stories. But this is different. This is cool.
How's your readings coming? Anything else coming up crazy? Colors, numbers?
No colors.
Okay.
I got one for a fleeting second at 12.1 and then nothing.
So she's gonna. And the wind doesn't affect that, just so you know. Like, I know it's a little breezy over here, and a lot of people ask that, but I'm surprised you haven't had any colors at all. Especially since when we turned it on, it kind of went nuts. So it was kind of your motion made it go off. So I was like, oh, it might be a little sensitive tonight, but you haven't seen anything. And I normally hand this to females because you guys walk more gracefully than we do, so we're going to get less false positives. So I do that on purpose because of the way you guys handle yourselves. So again, me walking around, it's going to go off every single step.
Yeah, I think I'm reasonably steady, but
Okay, good. Well, again, you can always help Jordan too with popping an earbud in to see how that thing actually works, because she's starting to hear things, which is good. So I'm going to do one more round robin, and I'll pull us to the back and give everybody the answers.
Oh,
There you go.
what happened?
Like that reset button.
So is that recess button, was that me or something? Or we don't still know?
So a lot of the green flickers, I don't normally take note of those until I
Right.
start to see like a major motion. So
Right, I didn't see any color.
okay. And the green ones, I'm like, yeah, it's probably you, more than likely.
should go to the guy.
We're showing blue. I don't know what that means. But I hit blue. And again.
Okay. We got blue.
19.4 for a second, and then went to 0. I went to 19.4, then 0, then 13.6, and it hit blue twice. Reset. Right? I don't know if that was Rio or me, but it was blue. Which is blue.
Yeah. Blue is somebody got closer than normal. The colors go, the closer you go, the higher it's going to go to your right.
But
they
nobody
were in
was
close
close.
proximity, showing you the color pollution. So again, the colors and the numbers work independently.
It went independent, because it went blue, and then it went like 19 or something, and then down to 0.
Wow.
And then like 13.
Still getting a variation. 6.3, 4.4, 1.8. You're all over the place.
I am.
Eliza, can you show us the color purple on this box? You know how it works. Just get close to the metal stick like you just did. Give us the color purple. Eliza, can you show us the color purple? Let's see if they're still open. Eliza, one last chance. Can you show us purple? Funny thing, because I'm out here every night pretty much around the same times. So, yeah, my name shows up here all the time, usually with a hello. I probably get that about once a month. Again, this is what I do every single day. So it's a matter of, like, that's a common occurrence. I get a hello, Nick. And it's like somebody will say, I heard hello, and then somebody will say, I just heard your name. So it's a hello, Nick, coming from two different spirit boxes. It happens all the time.
I asked her how old she was when she died, and I think I heard the words young and beautiful. I think.
That's funny.
It was a guy. Hard to make out specific things.
So you're pretty sure she's here.
I don't have a whole lot of clues, but your readings are probably our strongest thing that we have, to be honest with you. Where I have some small relevant things, but I'm about to give some answers out, and that way we can kind of see where things tie in. All right, Stephanie, come on back. Let's head up to the back. Yeah, go ahead and mute yours, and those of you with cameras, go ahead and shut them down. Go ahead and pause yours. That's the red square.
Isn't moving. It's just holding it. Alright.
So, who had the question about the children?
Oh, me.
So, and you heard the number 11.
I heard 11, but like you said, I only heard the name Jessie. Like, me and her both heard it, but you said it wasn't.
Right. Speaking of names, is Ariana anything?
No.
That was the only name that
Yeah. Good catch, though. Got to keep checking that list, because sometimes you miss
talks
things.
about names.
Yeah. 4 children total. So, Charles, we already talked about...
Oh my god. I had that number in my head the whole
I had a
time.
gut feeling.
What?
That was weird. That was weird.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to write down gut feelings.
No,
No, I know, but that
I'm
was
not doubting
weird.
it, But at the same time, just because of the look of surprise, we can't prove it.
Yeah, no,
Other
that
than
was.
your verification, and if it's on the camera, obviously you two
I
talking about
literally
it.
turned to you and I said, I feel like it's 4 kids. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's 4 kids.
Fair enough. Charles, signer of the Constitution. We already chatted about him, right? The next child, his name was Thomas. He was a Revolutionary War battle. The Battle of Camden. Was shot in his left leg and was left in a cane the rest of his days after the British captured him and released him. So again, these are the clues that we get around Thomas. We didn't get anything tonight in real time, so we'll see what I capture in the morning. The next child is the one I asked you not to poke the bear with. This is baby George. You can already see where this one's going. So baby George doesn't have a grave or a headstone. The theory behind that is because they would have mummified the baby and kept him right here in the home, waiting for his mother to pass away. So again, this was 1747. Yes, that was a thing back in the early colonial times. So because the baby wasn't fully, and it's the other thing is that he actually has a name. So it's a possibility that he actually lived for a few weeks before he passed away, because you don't name a baby in colonial times until he's christened or baptized. So again, not going to baptize him right out of the gate, like right out of the womb. He would have been at least a few weeks old. So, and he was named after Eliza's father, George Lucas. So again, baby George. It's going to get even more weird when I tell you about Eliza's death, because again, if my theory is true, it's going to get more weird. The last child, though, her name was Harriet. She married in Horry. Myrtle Beach is in Horry County, so that should kind of give you an idea of where she lived. We don't see Harriet down here a lot, but when we do, there's lots of letter writing that went back and forth between Eliza and her daughter, because it was a long trek to go see her daughter. So instead, they wrote letters back and forth. So if we do get the name Harriet, we'll get another, like a number relative to her, and then like quill, ink, paper, those kind of things. So Eliza's death, that would have been you. Did you hear anything specific?
What I told you before, I asked her how she died, she said I don't understand.
She probably didn't. Let me explain why. She died in 1793 at the age of 70. That's a long time for a colonial woman to be living, first off. She was going to Philadelphia getting treatments for whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what breast cancer fully was in 1793. I don't understand. So again, it's a great possibility. But in time, we have heard the term breast cancer here. That's how I learned about it. This isn't stuff like the tourism office told me I had to spout off to you guys. Most of this information came from other tours and things I had to research and find out. She died in Philadelphia. She's buried in Philadelphia. Here's the weird thing. The name of the tour that you're on is called Stories in the Cemetery. I don't actually take you to cemeteries. None of you are going to hang out near your grave when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away from where you're buried. So this is why we come to the spaces that we're in now. The other thing that should be rolling around in your head is baby George. If my theory is true, they would have taken that mummified baby all the way to Philadelphia from this location by horse and carriage. I just don't want to be that driver. That's kind of a creepy thought, isn't it? To have a mummy baby in the back of your horse and buggy? That's kind of a crazy thought. It is, but there's also no proof of anything. So again, and you can't Google mummy baby and not expect somebody to call you. So again, it's one of those pieces I can't prove any of it. Now, this space is what we call an intelligent ghost. Oh, by the way, anybody want to take a guess at who the president was, since we didn't get a direct answer? It was 1793. Who was the president that took her to her grave? Come on, history buffs, where are you?
Not me.
Adam?
You're talking to the
No. You okay?
Yeah.
All right.
George.
It was Washington. George Washington, at his own request, wanted to pay homage to Eliza because of the indigo that helped get his country started. What do you have? Shock. So look up shock. So here's the funny thing. When we got here, I kind of played a little trick on you. I told the Spirit Box teams that I would not be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose, so I put George Washington in the back of all of your brains to see who's going to spout it off really fast. And even when I asked again, none of you could still give me the answer, which is good, which means you're not subject to subliminal messaging. So good on you. It's the only word trick I play, and you all pass with a fail. So good job. That's the whole point of it. Now, again, we're dealing with an intelligent ghost here. We ask questions. We're going to get answers, hopefully, fingers crossed. The next space is not that way. It is a residual ghost. Luckily for us, we're in the middle of the loop where activity normally happens for this particular location. Here's how this is going to go. Those of you with cameras, you are not going to be filming until we get into the alley. It's about 3 blocks away. So again, there's no point. Yes?
What's residual mean?
So a residual is basically it's on a loop. They're not like an intelligent ghost where they can say, hey, I know your name's Rosa, so I'm going to say, hi, Rosa, my name is John. So again,
they're living like the same thing over and over
and over again. Now,
Yeah, that does.
it does. for them.
Sucks.
It's great for us because then we can start proving theories. The EMF meter is going to go off based on the parking meters. You
I
can,
just turned it off.
yeah, you can ignore your numbers the whole way there. Yeah, the parking meters are going to make it go off. The rest of you with spirit boxes, unmute them, crank them up. I want you all listening for names. I'm not going to play any more word tricks, I promise. You all passed, you're good. But I'll explain what those names mean if they're relevant once we get into the space and how that actually works with the residual haunting. Now, what's weird is I keep track of this residual because it's in every 6 to 7 weeks we get something that's relevant to that space. Right now we're on week 6 of that loop. So again, it's not stuff I make up. You can go back a week from now and listen to that tour and say that you can hear that I said 4 to 5 weeks. I didn't expect anything. Tonight, fingers crossed, we're going to hear some of those names that I commonly hear. So again, crank those spirit boxes up. We're going to navigate through the busy foot traffic going on.
I'm gonna turn them on now.
Yep, go ahead and unmute them. Let's do this.
Yeah, I know. I know you probably heard yourself.
Your spirit box thing, the app,
Everybody watch it.
basically
Kind of one up or down.
for names.
They had a couple of things pop up already, but you were saying like it has to be like in the space that it has to be basically right.
Yeah.
Basically like
I like
great.
I bet.
Make sure everybody catching up. Does anybody need to stop to go get a water? Does anybody need to stop to go get a water? There's a restroom in there too.
Yeah, maybe that's definitely yes then. Do that.
Okay, so how about it? We're right here for you. Oh, you can put it in your purse. That works. I'm good with that.
I'm not gonna put this in anything.
Okay.
Excuse me. I don't know what I did. All I hear is static.
Is the station stop sweeping?
Yeah. I don't know if I did like what I did here.
Switch at any point, let me know.
I like this. You want to
So I take it this was Jordan's idea to come out here and do this craziness? You look like you watch the shows too. Like you were nodding your head.
I do.
A lot of the equipment.
Yep.
Yep, and I'm the skeptic along for the ride to see what I see.
Sure. I caught on to that. It's okay. I love having skeptics because I want you to question stuff. People question what I do out here every single day. It's
She's
about
a liar, she's true.
That's why I handed her the device that she has, because it's going to show her what's going on. So, again, it's unexplainable. I don't have the answer, but it's definitely uncanny that you had the readings that you did back there.
radio snippets in there, but it's really hard to pick out what it is.
And there's been nights where I walk in there and I get like 25 for the whole night in that location. It's different every single night.
What draws them out and what doesn't.
We had a new moon yesterday. So, again, when phases do have an effect,
I wonder what she thinks about her house being a parking lot.
I'm sure she's not happy about it. But there's a lot of artifacts relative to her family that are still in Charleston. So, again, I'm sure like the amount of evidence that I have from all of these locations, it all adds up to, I mean, I could tell the whole story. I can probably spend the full 2 to 4 hours in just that lot alone talking about the Pinckney family.
Are you getting another water?
You want to go get us one?
You're texting. We're trying to find ghosts, and you're texting.
I gotta respond.
We're waiting.
So.
He's
Very
good.
I'll take a 20.
No, you're not getting a 20.
I tried.
Just one's good.
I thought you wanted 5 waters.
been so warm.
Are you in the bathroom?
Oh, John.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go get a water and use the restroom.
Yeah.
It's been so hot that I kind of have to make a stop, you know, for your guys' wellness. You know what I mean? We're out here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long you guys have been walking around today, but I got to take precautions too. So
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get blue.
Good. At some point, you carrying this backpack that you brought.
Oh, sorry. Did I mess you up?
No, I just it stuck to my face a little bit, so I was like,
Wow, that was
No, you look like old Rosie. You do.
so what kind of law do you practice?
Like you look like the 1950s, or like if you go to those diners. Like if you had a blue skirt on right now, it would be like that look. No, it's so cute.
What made you choose that? Just out of curiosity. I know I keep asking questions as soon as you take a drink.
So I have a master's in environmental law. I was going to go on 3 pieces to save the whales, but I had worked in grad law as a work complaints master, and that's where the jobs were coming to me from. I fell back into it and then started my own firm.
Nice. Good for you. It's awesome.
your change.
No.
This feels nice.
Sure.
They all fell in the water, like thing, like in the ice and stuff, and it felt nice.
All right. Back to you. Everybody's good to go? All right. Let's do this. We're going to head this way.
You're going to need to forward all the stuff he sent you. I think so too.
Like, I'm not talking like, I don't want a dog unless they like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, or is it one place right there?
It's easy to do figuratively, but let's see.
No, she says they never say that. They never say this in the. She says some shit.
Allie.
Let's see if it's going to go back to it.
Now it's blue and
Now
I
it's
just
blue.
reset it. Now it's red and I reset it.
Holy cow. And now it's gone. Any numbers?
8.1, 8.3.
Wow. Again, we don't normally see this here. What'd you get?
He didn't.
He didn't. Like, as in he did not?
Correct.
Wow. Interesting. Again, I don't have all the answers. This is a theory. So again, this is granite. Not supposed to have that kind of readings at all. So the fact that it's been kind of steady between, we have as low as at 8.2 all the way to a 10.2, like that's pretty crazy stuff. Like absolutely nuts. Again, that's a lot of readings coming out of here. And the blue and the red, like I can't explain that either. Because normally it's at a solid green with no motion going on whatsoever. Very weird. Now, part of the reason why I bring you here is to kind of give you the rest of the layout of the land of how we're going to be moving through the rest of the city. We're going to be going to 2 more locations. The next one is another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it. Why? Because it's residential at the end, and London and I have been kicked out. So, again, you guys have all the blinky lights and noisemakers and that kind of thing. It's out of bounds to be anything near residential. However, we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood as we go through the end of the alley to get to the next one. So video cameras, you will stop your videos as we exit the alley. Just like vehicles, we don't record people's houses. Spirit boxes, keep listening, and you're going to see where the word doctrine actually comes in. So again, we had the word doctrine show up. So the next one is actually that particular doctor story. We'll kind of go into that alley, but we're going to start seeing those other larger groups because it's a very popular ghost tour stop. But of course, I'm going to tell you the story differently because we're ghost hunting. You need much different details than the campfire ghost story. So,
What's the significance of the Messianic Lounge? Did you say it was Messianic here? Or
yeah, Freemasons.
Freemasons. So what's the significance of that?
So we will get terms wrapped around it. There's very little information about the Masonic Lodge even being here, other than it's on the registry. That's it. And so again, very secretive. All right, let's head up to the next alley. Let's go see what else we can find. All right. What do you got? Oh. brought him into town, set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston, but somebody was walking by. His name is Ralph Isaacs. Now, we're going to stop on Ralph for a second because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI will show up here all the time. Again, I need the secondary verifier because that's belonging to two different characters. So kind of keep that in mind as well. But Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you and take all your money. So the doctor, is listening, and Ralph offers him to go stay with some friends of his at 59 Church Street. The number 59 often shows up here too. He's got some friends there. The doctor can rent a room from them, and he'll be good to go. Well, he took him up on the offer, and they become friends. And the longer the doctor stays in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's doing pretty well for himself, which means Amanda's coming down soon, and they're going to finally get married. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. He's a pretty jovial guy. This is the... What's that? You have the word whistle? Oh.
No, presumably.
Presumably.
Hey,
Now, I will tell you that every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. That's just the way it goes. But we actually have proof of this one, so let's kind of get through the rest of the story. Now, the doctor, him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy worked back then. So as they're going to see Richard III, they have to talk about the play on the way home because they didn't sit next to each other to discuss. They're discussing the new actress. The doctor thought she was great, Ralph not so much. It gets even more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, and it gets really ugly and they go their separate ways. But Ralph goes and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. He's a disgrace. He charges too much. That kind of mentality. The doctor sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die, and we're going to just settle this once and for all. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph had his one shot and his, pistol. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor drops, and he falls to the ground, and he didn't die. His friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember the guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed this bullet out himself. So, the ghost story part of this is that you can walk through the alley and actually hear the whistles from the doctor. Turn on your voice recorders when you guys walk down there on your own, because obviously I can't take you down there. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And turn on your voice recorders and see what you can capture. Now, we're going to turn that noise off, the white button in the back, because I hear some horses coming. They also don't like that noise. Thank you. Now, we actually used to take people all the way through, and it was about listening to the voice recorder to see if there's any whistles in the background. If you do this on your own, keep in mind every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We do it every single night when we're done touring with you guys, because we're going to end right there. Our garage is right there. So again, we have to pass the alley in order to, be able to make sure, we're going to throw a whistle down. But anyway, here's how I got booted out of here. This is the fun part. This is what you're waiting on, isn't it? The alley didn't always come all the way through. So we used to take people all the way down to the end to show them the bricks at the end of the alley, kind of like what we did over there at Lodge Alley. But those bricks at the other end are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Basically, those kids had to turn those bricks in the sun to be able to bake them, so that way they could become bricks. There's a full handprint and fingerprint swipes in some of those bricks at the end of the alley. Everybody wants to kind of do put your devices near it, see if they can get a reading. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid is not staring at that brick with his handprint in it in the afterlife. So, it was a matter of just showing off the history to show how far we've come. Again, I'm sure you guys picked up, I'm all about the history. But one night, November 26th of 2020, my entire team wanted to stop at that brick and go around it and try to get a reading from it. It was outside a gentleman's dining room window of his beautiful mansion at the end of this alley. So, he came out screaming. He was not happy with us. We actually moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour. November 28th, the day after that, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway like everybody else, because that's as far as we're allowed to go, as far as tours go, or reroute. I decided it's not fair for my 10 to try to work around 20 to 60 people that are down there. So we're going to reroute. I told my team, I don't believe in this story. I'm not a pirate person. This is not my thing. I've never found any evidence of it, but we're going to see what happens. Before we leave, somebody hears the name Ann on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating Ann Bonnie before we actually left this space. So I was like, all right, we'll see what else happens. I need another clue. Somebody else hears the number 300 once we get down there, loud and clear. So we were there on November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary for the first time on my tours. Because again, I didn't even believe in the story. So now I keep taking you guys back there, and I'm a vampire guy. Like I said, I'm not a pirate person at all. So I had to learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates. It's a fun story to try to find factual data in pirate lore. So kind of keep that in mind when we go through the next story, and it's our last stop. It is a big hurrah where all devices will be back in use, including the motion sensor. So let's go learn about pirates, unless you guys have heard or seen anything on your devices before we leave, and try not to disturb the force. You got anything coming up? Oh, I did say window, but again, yeah, I got nothing on that. All right, let's head up and go learn about some crazy pirates. Did you hear anything on yours?
Now, they're drawing straws. Joe's going to shoot first. Right? They want to 21 paces. And in the fog, 42 paces. Joe can do it. But he knows he's not high up in the air, so he shoots high in the air. Now, we don't know what happens next because of the fog or because of the build up the side of the stretch. The next thing he gets wrong. Here's Rob saying, it says,
say it did get infected because, again, he was refusing medical treatment. And I was just listening to his version of the story. He claims that another doctor was trying to help him. But all the resources I have say he refused all medical treatment because he was kind of being a stubborn, guy. Like, he's the doctor of the town. So. Yeah, because the back is drenched.
Oh, fun. You finished your water?
Almost. Oh, you got some left?
I haven't opened it yet.
Oh. How many did you buy?
Just the one.
Oh.
I gave your money back.
Alright, so, we hear anything, see anything? Before I kind of get into why we're here? What was that?
I heard thousands of dollars.
Thousands.
Other things relevant?
What do you got?
We're going to be late to the cookout? No, I don't think so.
Definitely not. We're going to be talking about pirates. I'm sure they weren't, like...
No, I don't think... I mean, they might
pulling
have
up
been
lawn chairs in the
barbecuing.
backyard. Like, that's just not their thing.
A little picnic.
A little bit. So, welcome to the Powder Magazine. So, we are going to be discussing that little tiny building over there. The reason I brought us back here, you guys seen all the crazy tours. Again, I told you I'm going to keep us out of their way because we're going to be investigating this space, and we're going to be heading to the front of the Powder Magazine as well. So, let's get through the history back here, and then we'll spread out as far as you guys want to go. The Powder Magazine, those are not crosses on that building, first off. Those are earthquake bolts. So you guys have been seeing earthquake bolts all over town, kind of our Charleston charm of like lion heads and pineapples and that kind of thing. So basically, yeah, because that's how we decorate them. That's just what we do. Now, earthquake bolts is basically a safety net. If we have another earthquake, those things are turnbuckles. So you can turn them, and it's supposed to straighten the building back up from the damage of the earthquake. It's a weird idea, but it just doesn't work. So they're just all over town. It's part of our Charleston charm. The reason I bring these ones up specifically is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston actually put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here because this building was erected at the same time that Anne Bonny started her pirate career in Charleston. So again, this is what we call a familiar. It's kind of like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle. Familiar building, hopefully we'll capture some activity. Now, we talked about the Charlestown Wall earlier, and we had even Wall Street actually pop up on a spirit box. That wall actually stood on Cumberland, where that garage is sitting right now. It went up past the powder magazine and started going south towards the battery, locking the powder magazine the furthest away that they can protect it on purpose, 3 blocks away from the water. If a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship is going to attack it from the water, it's going to have a hard time making it this far inland, first off. Second, those walls are 32 inches thick. Going to have a hard time going through to blow up the gunpowder that's inside, but we're going to pretend that it does. There's sand in the roof still there that was put there during its construction in the early 1700s to go up with the explosion, because it can't go out with the thick walls, and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. That's another great idea, but it doesn't work. So we had another powder magazine that was closer to the battery. It did get hit, sand in the air, building burned to the ground. The sand is still underneath those shingles. It is not hot enough here, nor that sand being compressed to turn it into glass, and sand does not disintegrate. So that sand is still sitting underneath those roof shingles. Now, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? So, no, not at all. I'm just going to answer for you. Anne Bonny actually came here right in the middle of it, so that's where our story begins. Let's kind of get into that. Follow me, there's a lot of twists. 1708, a young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far? Anne with her dad, mistress's mom. Nice. The 3 of them running away from his wife.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, how pissed off was she? Just saying. Yeah, she both made them leave the country to come here. They land in Georgetown, just north of here between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad buys a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. Probably not a good journey for them. Just pointing that out. Now, that means he has to send young Anne down here to Charlestown to be able to sell anything from the plantation to kind of keep things afloat. And we have a cricket. Awesome. So Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was only 10 or 12 years old with a knife to the belly. So I tell you that to kind of put the mentality of this young lady through your heads as we kind of go through the rest of her history. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. She's going to fall in love pretty quickly because she wants her freedom just like a man. Again, early 1700s. Now, first guy she falls in love with, yes, I'm going to keep tally because there's a handful, James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going because we already mentioned the name Anne Bonny. But Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. So they run away to Jamaica, they get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. But James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. Like every young woman back then would have wanted to marry a Captain Jack Sparrow style pirate. This guy's a privateer. He's a spy for the British. In her eyes, he's a coward. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This turns out to be John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the real person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So, we'll get into him later. And Calico Jack has his own ship and wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on the crew. Does anybody know why?
She's bad luck.
Bad luck, right. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you can actually be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate, here we go. Let's put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults here. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. So again, there's no resource anywhere that's going to tell me what happened to the baby. The weird thing about this whole coming back thing is that she's dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. But while she was away giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew and are down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Murder. Not yet. So.
Tell in the future over here.
I know, right? So, The young lady that she was flirting with, her name was Mary Reed. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for sure, but they're friends. We'll keep it at that. The British find out where they are. They send their fleet of ships to come down and take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only two pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their one-bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannons yet. And obviously, two ladies taking on a fleet of ships is not going to work out. They're going to get arrested. So as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot on your spirit boxes, by the way. The judge wants to see the two men that fought back so valiantly after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk crew that wouldn't fight. So now the two ladies go in front and reveal the gender to the judge, hoping to save themselves, and he doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they screamed out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money because he was an attorney back home in Ireland. And he bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed, has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, we do not know much about her life after her pirate career. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later in that same jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. I'm sure it was nasty and gross. Some resources will say just fever, but I'm sure it was much further than that. We don't know. Again, trying to find facts in pirate lore is a feat all on its own. Because again, we're talking pirates. It's for speculation. Now, the only 2 things that I left out for all you spirit box folks to use on your spirit boxes, you know what you're doing by now. We've been together probably nearly 2 hours. I don't keep track. But at the same time, I left out the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. So you can ask what those names are. You can also ask the name of Calico Jack's ship. I'm hoping that we're going to get the answer. It doesn't come up often. You can also ask, and this is a weird one, especially for Brenda's device. She likes to give us this answer. She's going to use her motion sensor to try to find out Anne Bonny's hair color. Again, getting a red reading is a very odd thing. I know we just saw one back at Lodge Alley, but again, I've never seen it over there either. Like, that is a crazy anomaly that just happened back there. I've never seen one up until a few weeks ago when we were asking directly from a spirit box, and I had the, that device with us as well, and it touched the red to show us her hair color was indeed red. So again, weird things have occurred here. Now, we can go in front of the powder magazine for those of you with video cameras, or for those of you that just want to see what the front of it looks like, you can do that. The only thing I ask is you just stay out of the way of the other doors. So again, let's definitely get some footage around here. I'm actually going to go over there by that wall, so that way I can set the bag down over there, let you guys kind of work, and I'll start bouncing around for a few minutes. And again, this is a hit or miss. We're either going to get a lot or nothing. So I'll know probably within the first 5 to 7 minutes. If we have a lot going on, we'll obviously continue for a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap up this party and get you guys back to your vehicles out of this crazy heat, because you guys are all got glistening faces right now. So I'm just worried that this is a very warm day for us, especially at night. But let's crank up those spirit boxes. You're already recording. Do you have your red square? Look at you. You're on top of things. Go ahead and pull up your antenna a little bit further, Brenda.
Calico Jack.
Calico Jack.
And the name of
Anne's parents.
Anne's parents.
You got it. 2 simple questions. And I'll reveal those answers before we leave. So,
Liar.
I will. See what I have to put up with everybody?
Don't point it at me. I'm gonna get a lot of readings if you point it at me. There we go.
Should I stand next to Sam and Rosa?
It's up to you. Your camera likes to act up in here. So it likes to give us some weird grainy looks. It'll give us some white lines that aren't supposed to be there. It gives us a lot of weird stuff in this location. So I notice a little bit of a handshake. Are you okay?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And
I didn't know if it affects
maybe I gave the camera to the wrong guy. He probably feels bad, because trying to keep a steady hand with that guy. So I wish I would have noticed it earlier. I would have said, why don't you go ahead and swap it and kind of see what else is going on.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems like you and Jordan are having, this was your thing. I can see a lot of head nods.
Yeah.
So I love how Brenda just keeps testing me. I love it. Because again, I love those people when I can kind of give the answers, but it's always like I don't have all the answers.
Yeah, she would have a lot of questions always.
And that's good. That's what I want. Like, look at all the green she's getting. Like, I'm gonna ask me how come all that green's showing up.
How come all this? Yeah, exactly. And I keep hitting reset.
It's also because you can see like the blinks coming out of it just by me barely touching it. It's weird. Being very sensitive. Make sure the range wasn't messed with. Try to keep the range pretty tight because you can make it pretty big where it'll emit that EMF field all the way around. I just don't like all the bugs flying through it. There we go. It's a little better. It's as low as it'll go. But I don't expect numbers here. We don't see a whole lot of numbers at all. This might be almost like a sit down on the ball.
You want to come with me to the front of the powder keg?
I asked the name of her father and I got a car commercial.
Yeah, her father's name was Ford.
But I did ask if she and Mary were a couple and I heard hold them.
In front of the powder magazine.
Going where?
In front of the powder magazine.
Too late in the evening. There you go. Uh-oh. B. Uh-oh.
Had your fingers in front of it. No, all the readings.
See, it's hard for me because my hand shakes.
Well, we can switch for a bit if you want, but it's kind of hard to hear all this.
It's all right.
Hello, anyone who might have visited this place. Do you know what they keep in here? Do you know what they keep in this building?
It's not shutting up.
You want to switch with me?
No. Unless you do. You can do it if you want. I won't do anything. I don't want that.
I'm kind of, because I'm shaking too much.
When you're going to be shaking way too much for that.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's get out of here.
This for Charleston used to keep its gunpowder and it would keep our gunpowder and cannonballs. That's where Charleston got put on the map. It's kind of like a ghost city.
I have it turned down as low as it can go. With every little step she's taking, it is all over the map. It breathes coming in tomorrow. I probably won't even put it into the tour for 4 or 5 nights until I at least get a couple of days to work with it. See what I just think it like went into like super sensitive mode. And again, I turned it all the way down as far as the range on the EMF around the antenna. So you shouldn't have been getting that kind of sensitivity on it. Super interesting. Yeah. Kind of open from your emotions. It's the only thing I can come up with.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's not you, it's the device. Like it's like a changed sensitivity and it's super weird. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Nice, slow, steady movements. You got this. Let's keep one of us in view. You follow up with everybody.
Huh?
Right on that. That would have been expensive to fix, I'm sure.
What's your hair color?
Green. Yeah.
Green. Oh my gosh. How do people sleep without air conditioning?
I cannot.
Hey, Anna. What's up? What did you do after becoming a pirate?
You just gonna leave that there on the ground?
Let's actually start hitting this we're already over here. Jordan, you got anything going on with yours? Yeah, nothing at all?
Not really.
It's down there. I gotta go get it. I was just leaving it set.
It's okay. We're gonna actually
Not really. Like, I feel like I asked her if she preferred to dress as a woman or a man. I think I heard the word man in there.
Okay.
I also asked if she and Mary were a couple, and something said all the way. But besides that, I couldn't like get any names or anything specific.
One night, and I'll never forget this. It was probably over a year ago when I first started coming over here. I heard on there, it was 2 DJs talking, 2 females, and said, they think we're guys. And they both started laughing. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm never going to forget that, just because it's one of those pieces, like, you can't deny what you actually heard, because it was loud and clear. All right, so let's get into,
Don't fall.
yeah, slipped on the sand there. It's not on the roof. All right, so those of you with video recorders, feel free to stop them if you'd like, kind of give your hands a break, because I'm going to start collecting here in just a few moments. I am excited about monuments. We had